You know, I'm old enough to come through the crack epidemic. When I was in high school, that's what was popping off at the time. You know, everybody was hustling, trying to get to the bag, and the crime and murder rate reflected in that.
VoicedTV.
You know, with consciousness comes responsibility. Something else I want to address, man. You know, when we start talking about the school system, you know, we start talking about some of the things in the neighborhood. I just did a podcast, right?
Mm-hmm. Hidden Truths.
Hidden Truths. Shout out to my man, Ernest Swindell and Hidden Truths. But one of the things that we talked about on the podcast was what's holding us back as a people. And when I think about that, AMAC, again, when I start talking about the school system and a lot of the things that's going on in the school system that's so negative, when you say a school has a bad reputation because of the fighting and low test scores and so forth, you know, I feel like we got to look at ourselves as parents. You know, everything starts at the home. I say it's three things that raise a child. You know, first is the home, then it's the neighborhood, and then it's the school system. You know, so when you start talking about a school has a bad reputation, what is that saying about us as parents? You know, how are we raising our kids? What are we allowing our kids to do? Because the way they act in their school is obviously a reflection of either what they've been taught at the home or being influenced by at the home, or better yet, what they've been allowed to get away with at the home.
Or what they're not being taught at home.
True indeed. You know, and one of the things that I was talking about on the podcast is I feel like in order for us to progress as a people, we're going to start having these type of conversations. We got to, you know, detach from the ego, the false pride, you know, because the reality of it is, you know, nobody wants to be looked at as a bad parent. But if you are doing things that are influencing your child in a negative way, you have to realize that that is influencing that child. And that's causing that child to do certain things that are causing some of the mischief and all the chaos that's going on, you know, in our communities and the school system. So I think we need to have those type of talks, man, with the community, with the village, with parents, about how are we really raising our children? What are we allowing them to be influenced by, you know? And until we start having those type of discussions and then putting forth some effort to change some of that, I don't really see where it's going to get any better, Mac.
Yeah, I mean, I think people as a whole, especially within our community, we definitely have to get uncomfortable.
Right,
we have to get uncomfortable.
Right.
These conversations are uncomfortable.
Right.
And it's crazy because the human body, the way the human body adapts is amazing. So a lot of people have gotten comfortable in uncomfortable situations.
Right.
So
right.
This is like, all right, you talking about working out and stuff like that, right? Let's talk lifting weights. You know, I played basketball and stuff. We had to do weight training, right? So in order for me to get stronger, I had to lift weights. My body aching, hurting and stuff.
Right.
But it's getting outside of my comfort zone.
Right.
That's the only way you can grow.
Right.
Is getting outside the comfort zone. And I think that's something that we definitely need to do. We definitely need to have these hard discussions because everything first starts from a thought.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So then you had that thought, and then you verbalize the thought, then okay, now we can have this action.
Right.
You know, this is my 2 cents.
No, I agree with you 100%, Mac. You know, and again, like prime example, you know, you've done some work in the school system. I had a scenario one time where me and my partner, Ernest, we went to the school to have a conference over one of my kings. And I was talking to one of the counselors out there about, you know, how much parental engagement they got. And he was like, it was slim to none. But one thing that he told me that stood out, he said they have even had incidents sometime where they had to call security on the parent because the parent comes to the school and they acting crazy, trying to defend their child.
Yeah, I experienced that when I was in school.
Wow.
Yeah, I experienced that, you know, when I was a resource officer.
Yeah.
I've experienced that. And the difference in that, then when I came up, like, let's be real, I was a kid, so of course I would lie to get out of trouble, you know. So anytime a teacher or something called my mom, and I'm fortunate. Anytime they call my mom, like, no, let me talk to adult first. You stay in the child's place. She know her son.
Right.
She know her son.
Right.
Getting fights in the neighborhood and stuff like that.
Right. Right.
You know?
Right.
So, but it was like, okay, now I'm going to talk to the adult first. I can't, and let me decipher whatever I need to decipher from the information the adult gives me. It ain't, oh, you said she did what? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. I'm just going in there on 100, you know?
Because you made a point, man. If little Johnny cutting up in the neighborhood, why you don't think he cutting up at school? What's going to change? If he not respecting authority at home, he not going to respect it in the school system. That's just the bottom line.
And it's like when you do that, we were just having this conversation. When you do that, you're really setting a child up for failure.
That's right.
You're setting them up for failure,
That's
man,
right.
because like your mother, your family, they can't save you for everything.
That's right. And when you get out in the world, there's rules and regulations, and there's consequences if you don't abide by those rules and regulations, you know. And unfortunately, that's why so many of us end up in prisons, you know, because the choices that we made harboring behind the fact that we didn't get the right guidance coming up in the home. A lot of us, unfortunately, you know, when you talk about falling victim to the neighborhood or to the streets, you know. But yeah, hey, Mac, I'm big on that, man. Again, you know, with the situation that happened, you know, it's a tragedy on both parts. And, you know, to all the people who are out here doing mentoring, the teachers, so forth, anybody that's doing something to try to help these youth turn things around, make them more positive, you know, salute, man, because it's real critical in these times. And like I say, I don't see it getting any better until we start really addressing the core issues of what's causing this behavior. Why does this child have this mindset? You know, last year in Charlotte, man, they had 86 murders. Most of them between the ages of 18 and 34, and most of them black on black crime. 86. Now, you know, we had this conversation before, A-Mac, but, you know, I'm old enough to come through the crack epidemic. When I was in high school, that's what was popping off at the time. You know, everybody was hustling, trying to get to the bag, and the crime and murder rate reflected in that. You know, 1993, they had 129 murders, man, in this city. You know, and I was reading an article the other day, and McFadden was saying that, again, the catalyst to that was because the crack, the drugs that came into the city. You know, the crack epidemic. Hey, man, the crack epidemic is gone now. It's gone. I mean, crack is still out here, but the epidemic itself is gone. So why are the kids acting out the way they're acting out now? What are they being influenced by? What is the violence coming behind now? You know, and that's the question. You know, that's the mindset that we have to address if we want to get to the bottom and start, you know, having some real solutions to the problems. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, you think about a city like Chicago, man, over 600 murders last year, man. You know, but when the police kill us, oh, we ready to raise holy hell, right? But think about the amount of genocide that goes on day to day in these hoods across America. Who's addressing that? I'm sure that people are, but we all need to feel some type of way about that because it affects us all, you know. Somebody getting their head popped off right now while we're doing this interview, you know. That's just the reality of it, you know. So again, man, until we start having these conversations and being real about it, I don't really see too much of a change going on, man. You know, it's becoming common, you know, and it's sad. Right, if you grow up, man, where, you know, everybody in the neighborhood got 2, 3 baby daddies, I mean, then that's just common to you. You know, if you grow up where, you know, most of your friends, there's no father figure in the home, it's just, you know, that's not unusual to you. But we got to do something to bring forth change, man, if we want to uplift our people. You know, if we want to become, you know, better citizens and more productive, you know, in society, we got to do something that's going to bring awareness and bring solution, you know.